Let's go to Erickson and Roland who are standing by down in South Beach in Miami. Erickson, we just saw, John King was showing us that among Tea Party voters, they were pretty evenly split, but Mitt Romney has been able to make inroads among Tea Party voters in Florida, very different than what we saw in South Carolina. Can the Gingrich campaign really depend on Tea Party voters in Nevada?
I'm not sure Nevada, although, Anderson, to be honest, I really want to see if we can break it out and see what did the Panhandle do as opposed to the rest of the state in terms of evangelicals and Tea Party. Because I would argue that in the upcoming primaries, particularly on Super Tuesday, that the Tea Party voters and the evangelical voters demographically are going to be more similar to Panhandle voters than Southern Florida voters. It balanced out in the state overall, but what about Northern Florida? I think that could make a difference for Gingrich. It's going to be a very long, hard slog for him, though, through February, because Arizona, Nevada, Michigan, they're all going to favor Mitt Romney.
Look, Anderson, I think we also got to go back to something. The Tea Party was built on this economic agenda. I think back to Ross Perot and the Reform Party, and people talk about the debt, things of those issues. That's what it was about. And so when Newt Gingrich talks about, I am more of a conservative than Mitt Romney, Tea Party folks were saying, especially in this state, I want to hear about the economy. I want to hear about jobs.
They heard about abortion instead.
Absolutely. And so if you're Newt Gingrich, you have to tailor your message, frankly, to Florida differently than what he did in South Carolina. That made no sense whatsoever. It's going to be economic. So I don't buy the whole notion that he can somehow just grab the Tea Party folks if he has no economic message.
Eric, you can, I guess, pinpoint one thing that gave Mitt Romney such a lead and such a win in Florida tonight. Obviously, money was a huge factor, the amount of money spent. But do you think this was really a story about the importance of debates?
Well, I think advertising was predominant in Florida and had more of an impact than anything. But the debates were key in Florida as well. They got Newt momentum in South Carolina. They really hurt him in Florida. I talked to a very senior Newt Gingrich official shortly before the South Carolina debate that CNN did. And he said Newt Gingrich's strategy, he was not joking, was to tune the world out, take a nap, relax, and think himself, as opposed to doing the traditional debate. I think if that's what he's telling me and he was serious, then Newt's going to have to rethink his debate strategy.
Eric, also, I think his problem was he expected a Mitt Romney to come who was the same Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney finally decided in Florida to play to win and not play to lose. They stopped being so conservative, not a bad word here. They stopped being conservative. They stopped trying to be all, laid back. He finally got far more aggressive, and I think clearly the voters are responding. They responded. The question is, can Mitt Romney stay aggressive in the next few states, especially on Super Tuesday?
And that's going to drive up negatives for him as it did for Gingrich if he does stay that aggressive.
But he has no choice because he got to win the nomination.
Roland, Erick Erickson, guys, thanks. We'll check in with you throughout the evening.